Back to our channel. Today we are going to start chapter 58 from Guyton, that is diffusion of gases. So first let us see the important terms. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless and poisonous gas that is product of incomplete combination of combustion of carbon. So by incomplete combustion of carbon we get carbon dioxide. So it's colorless, odorless and poisonous. So diffusing capacity is the volume of gas that will diffuse through the membrane each minute for a partial pressure difference of 1 millimeters of mercury. So diffusing capacity is how a volume of gas is diffusing by the membrane for each minute of a partial pressure difference of 1 millimeter. And partial pressure is a pressure that one component of mixture of gas would exert if it alone occupied the whole volume occupied by mixture. So its partial pressure is nothing but of individual gas how the pressure is, that is a partial pressure. And next coming to the vapor pressure. Vapor pressure of water is defined as partial pressure that water molecules exert to escape through the surface. So vapor pressure of water is nothing but the partial pressure of water which they use to escape from the surface, that is vapor pressure. So the process of diffusion is simply random motion of molecules in all directions through respiratory membrane and adjacent fluid. So diffusion is the random process to move in all directions of mainly through the respiratory membrane and adjacent fluids. So already we discussed the components of respiratory membrane. So now let us see the physics of gas diffusion and gas partial pressures. So molecular basis of gas diffusion is all gases of respiratory physiology are simple molecules which are free to move among one another in random and spontaneous manner. So this process is called diffusion, and this is also true of gases which are dissolved in fluids and tissues of body. So all gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide, they are lipid soluble and water soluble, so they can easily pass by any kind of membrane. So that is called as diffusion. We already studied diffusion in our general physiology. So the source of energy for diffusion is mainly provided by kinetic motion. So here we are going to apply the physics into physiology. So you can see because of kinetic motion particles move in different directions. So because of that it is giving the source energy for this diffusion. And except at absolute zero temperature, all molecules of all matter are continually undergoing motion. So at absolute zero temperature, what happens is all molecules are already in motion, so no need to give any kind of energy from kinetic motion. But mainly during diffusion of particles, the energy is the source mainly from the kinetic motion of molecules. Next, the free molecules that are not attached to others, that is the linear movement at increase the velocity until they strike other molecules. So before striking other molecules the velocity will not increase, but because of striking the free molecules they increase the velocity and bounce away in new directions and continue moving until they strike other molecule again. So in this way molecules move rapidly and randomly among one another. So because of this movement, that is one molecule is going on striking other molecule, so because of this striking effect there is lot of kinetic motion. In Guyton you can see this diagram, diffusion of oxygen from one end of chamber to the other. So the difference between the length of arrows represent net diffusion. So you can see this is the net diffusion. Here there are a lot of molecules, so because of the kinetic motion striking effect they are moving towards this side. So now let us see the net diffusion of gases in one direction. So that is what as we already saw the diagram, it is related to this, how the gases move in one direction. So actually why we are learning this basic concept of physics, why we are learning is we need to understand how in respiratory system also this diffusion process goes on. So the effect of concentration gradient will occur from the high concentration to low concentration. This is very simple, everyone know. So the diffusion of gases between gas phase in alveoli and dissolved phase. So we need to understand in alveoli what is gas phase and dissolved phase. Actually dissolved phase is seen in blood, whereas gas phase is seen in alveoli, because alveoli is filled with gases, whereas in blood if that separate particle dissolves, then we say it as partial pressure of that gas. So we'll see this. So normally the partial pressure of each gas in alveolar respiratory gas mixture tends to force the molecules of gas into solution in the blood of alveolar capillaries. So always actually what the partial pressure does is it's try to move the gases or any kind of molecules mainly from the alveoli into the blood capillary. For example, you can say this is a respiratory membrane. So this side we have our alveoli and this side we have our blood capillary. So always what the partial pressure does is it tries to move the particles through this respiratory membrane from the alveoli into capillary, or either from the capillary into the alveoli. So this is the main exchange site where respiration process takes place. So here comes the main physiology to understand this in the fluid. Yeah. So next, conversely, the molecules of same gas are bouncing randomly in fluid of blood and escape back to the alveoli. So because of bouncing nature, they're going back from the blood capillary into the alveoli, and because of partial pressure, they are coming from the alveoli into the capillary. So the rate at which they escape is directly proportional to the partial pressure in the blood. So this is governed by Henry's law. So Henry's law, what it says is the rate at which they escape in directly their escape is directly proportional to the partial pressure in blood. So escape is nothing but now the particles are moving from the capillary into the alveoli, so that rate is directly proportional to the partial pressure in the blood. Then that is called that law is given by Henry, hence it is also called as Henry's law. And next, the partial pressure of oxygen is very high in gas phase of alveoli. We know this because because of inspiring, the oxygen comes more into alveoli. So of course, the partial pressure of oxygen is very high in alveoli. So they diffuse into the blood more due to the concentration gradient. Because concentration gradient, the particles are moving from higher concentration to lower concentration. So alternatively, the partial pressure of gas of carbon dioxide is also high in dissolved state of blood. So in blood, mainly carbon dioxide is very high because here's pulmonary artery is carrying now the deoxygenated blood which is coming from our inferior vena cava whole body, right? So the net diffusion occurs towards the gas phase in alveoli. So what they mean to say, this blood which is carrying the deoxygenated blood tries to move the carbon dioxide into the alveoli, and the alveoli which is having the gas phase of oxygen which tries to come into the capillary. So very simple concept. Next, the vapor pressure of water. So we need to see why this is included here. Actually, non-humidified air. Actually, the air which is present outside in an environment is non-humidified. After coming into our body, especially into the alveoli, because of water spray, they get humidified. So in respiratory passage, the water vapor evaporates and surface of passage and humidifies air. So diffusion of dissolved gas molecules are continuously escaping from water surface into gas phase. So actually what happens is, for example, this is alveoli. So any gas, for example oxygen, or let us take oxygen. So oxygen is coming into our body. So before it is non-humidified, but after coming into humidified, nothing but adding the water molecules. So after coming to alveoli tries to add some water molecules, but actually what they do is this are gas phase, right? This is water. So what they do is they try to escape from this water and they stay in the gas phase in the alveoli itself, but they are humidified now. So the partial pressure that water molecules exert to escape through the surface is called vapor pressure of water, and in normal body temperature 37 degrees, the vapor pressure is equal to 47 millimeters of mercury. So we are going to get many MCQs related to this vapor pressure and all this. We already discussed in our revision series of our respiratory physiology. You can go and check there, all the formulas, everything are there. So this vapor pressure is very important, 47. So what is vapor pressure? It is the partial pressure of water molecules exert to escape through the surface is called vapor pressure. So they are trying to escape from this, that is called as vapor pressure. That is mainly 47 millimeters of mercury. And once the gas mixture has become fully humidified, that is once in equilibrium with water, partial pressure of water vapor is in gas mixture is 47 millimeters of mercury. It is pH2O. So this 47 millimeters of mercury is also called as pH2O, that is partial pressure of water. Because you can see, once gas mixture has become fully humidified, that is once in equilibrium with water. Now this what happens, finally this oxygen individual gas stage becomes humidified along with the water, so it is called as partial pressure of water, that is 47 millimeters of mercury in a complete gas mixture. So you can check out here the pressure difference which causes net diffusion of gases by fluids. So the net diffusion of gas from high pressure to low pressure area is equal to the number of molecules which are bouncing in this forward direction minus the number of molecules bouncing in opposite direction, of course, because opposite direction means from capillary into the alveoli. Forward direction means from alveoli into the capillary. So we need to do minus between these two, which is proportional to the gas partial pressure difference between two areas is simply the pressure difference for causing diffusion. So this is nothing but this opposite force which is coming from the capillary and this forward force which is coming from the alveoli, this pressure difference nothing but gives us the partial pressure. So diffusion of gases across the tissue is governed and described by Fick's law. So before we have seen the Henry's law. Henry's law is mainly related to the rate at which the escape is directly proportional to partial pressure. I think both are almost same, but here the word is escape because it is coming from the capillary into alveoli. But here we are seeing both, that is escape is there and also forward direction is there. This is given by Fick's law. So Fick's law states the net diffusion rate of gas by membrane is directly proportional to the tissue area. So you can see this is the tissue area and this is the solubility S. So what they say is the states of diffusion of gas by membrane is directly proportional to the tissue area and also directly proportional to the pressure difference between two sides, that is partial pressure difference, and but inversely proportional to the thickness, because if the thickness is very high then it is hard for the gas to diffuse, right? So if tissue area is very high, more surface area, more diffusion, and if more partial pressure difference between both means higher diffusion, whereas if the thickness is very high means it has low rate of diffusion. So only thickness is inversely proportional but all are directly proportional. So just we can think it, it's not like some physics formula like that. So here V gas is equal to area into pressure difference into this is here D. D is a constant that depends on solubility of gas. So D is a constant, just we have mentioned the constant. So T is the thickness. So only our thickness is inversely proportional. So gas is inversely proportional to molecular weight. Yeah, even molecular weight should be inversely proportional, because if the molecular weight is very high of a gas then it is very hard to pass, but if it is low then it will be very easy for the diffusion. So you can see here this D constant is directly proportional to solubility, whereas the constant D is inversely proportional to the square root of molecular weight, because if I are having higher solubility means higher diffusion, but molecular weight is high means lower diffusion. So always remember only two are inversely proportional according to Fick's law, that is the thickness and square root of molecular weight. And next, let us see what are the factors which are affecting the rate of gas diffusion in fluid. So in fluid, for the diffusion of gas, what are the factors? So the first factor is solubility of gas in fluid. Next is a cross-sectional area of fluid. Next is the distance by which the gas must diffuse, and the molecular weight and the temperature of the fluid. So this all before we already discussed in Fick's law, but the temperature of fluid is given extra here. So in body, if the temperature is constant, then there is no need to consider, but if the temperature varies, then we need to consider this also as a factor. So whenever there is increase in solubility of gas, of course increase in number of molecules available to diffuse for any partial pressure difference, whereas increase in cross-sectional area of diffusion pathway, increase the total number of molecules that diffuse, and increase the greater distance to diffuse. Longer, if the distance is high, of course it will be longer, so decrease here, diffusion is decreased, longer for the molecules to diffuse entire distance, whereas increase in velocity of kinetic movement is inversely proportional to the molecular weight, greater the diffusion of gas if it is higher. And next, coming to the solubility and molecular weight, they mainly determine the diffusion coefficient of gas, that is proportional to solubility divided by under root molecular weight. So that is relative rates at which the diffusion gases at same partial pressure diffuse are proportional to the diffusion coefficients. So gases which have higher lipid soluble, normally the gases are highly lipid soluble, so they can easily cross the membrane. Diffusion of gases by tissues is equal to the diffusion of gases in water. So always remember it is same, because as they are highly water soluble, highly lipid soluble, so even by tissues they can easily diffuse, and even in water also they can easily diffuse. So RBC to capillary within the alveolus with carbon monoxide. So now let us see what happens if carbon monoxide is there in our blood, that is it is coming RBC to capillary within alveolus, means from capillary side carbon monoxide is going to alveolus, then what happens? So carbon dioxide move to RBC from alveoli by respiratory membrane. Actually carbon dioxide is very high in the alveoli because it is also one of the gas which is present in alveoli. So from alveoli it may reach into the capillary, that is RBC. So carbon dioxide form a strong bond with hemoglobin. So this is a major problem, as it forms a strong bond with hemoglobin. Now this blood is unavailable to the tissues. So if the carbon dioxide is very high, it won't increase the partial pressure because it's not dissolved in blood. As yes, whenever the carbon dioxide is very high, it just bonds with the hemoglobin, so the bonded one is not dissolved in blood, right? So the partial pressure of carbon monoxide is less, and the partial pressure of carbon dioxide increases in alveoli than capillary, because in alveoli it is not bond, it is in a free form. So the partial pressure of carbon monoxide in alveoli is high but not in capillary. So maintain the gradient from alveoli to the capillary, because in alveoli it is high. So from higher concentration to lower concentration, so carbon dioxide move from the alveoli to the capillary. So diffusion of carbon dioxide is mainly limited by the respiratory membrane sometimes. So carbon monoxide transfer from alveolus to capillary is diffusion limited, because here why they are using the word limited, because it is limited mainly by our respiratory membrane and diffusion capacities. And next, going to the perfusion limited. So what is perfusion limited? Here nitrous oxide which moves rapidly from alveolus to the RBC via respiratory membrane, same like carbon monoxide. There is no bonding, but there is no bonding here, whereas with carbon monoxide you can see hemoglobin bonds very tightly, but here there is no bonding between nitrous oxide and hemoglobin. So nitrous oxide partial pressure is increased. So always remember, when any gas is in binded form with any other molecule, especially hemoglobin, then the partial pressure may remain normal, it may not increase. But when it is in free form, then of course the gas which is present in our blood will show the higher partial pressure. So here the nitrous oxide is now in free form, so it has higher partial pressure in the blood. So the amount of gas which is transferred into blood from the alveolus is mainly dependent on the blood flow at that time, not on the diffusion properties. So always remember, not only on diffusion properties, even it depends on that time, because sometimes according to the time also this diffusion of gases changes. So the transfer of nitrous oxide is called perfusion limited. So this is called perfusion limited, whereas the above carbon monoxide is called diffusion limited, because it is limited by the respiratory membrane, but it is limited by the perfusion, the amount of blood flow, because in blood the nitrous oxide partial pressure has increased, whereas carbon monoxide is not increased. So oxygen diffusion time course is between the carbon monoxide and nitric oxide. So oxygen, of course, now let us say about oxygen. Actually oxygen is between this both carbon monoxide and nitric oxide, but oxygen also binds with hemoglobin. So now you can understand oxygen partial pressure will not increase now in the blood, but you should remember that monoxide binds very tightly with hemoglobin, but oxygen will not bind that much, it will leave further because it need to supply to the tissues. So partial pressure of oxygen is increased than carbon monoxide. But remember that even though oxygen binds with, this is very important point, even though oxygen binds with hemoglobin, but oxygen partial pressure is high in blood when compared with carbon monoxide, because carbon monoxide permanently binds with the hemoglobin, whereas oxygen will not bind permanently, because hemoglobin is a transporter for the oxygen. There are four sites, four pockets of hemoglobin where the oxygen sits and travels. So hemoglobin is a vehicle for the oxygen, so just oxygen is carried to the tissues, but it is not completely binded. So that's why the partial pressure of oxygen also rises in the blood when compared with carbon monoxide. So in rest, the partial pressure of oxygen in blood reach same as alveolar gas. So even in rest you can see the partial pressure of oxygen in blood reaches same as alveolar gas. In respiratory membrane disorders, oxygen partial pressure decreases in blood, which results in a state of yeah. To begin again the diffusion limited, because diffusion limited means again partial pressure decreases. So let us see what are the factors which are determining the rapidity of gas passing by membrane. So mainly again let us repeat this: thickness of membrane, we know it's inversely proportional, surface area is directly proportional, and diffusion coefficient of gas in membrane, it should also be directly proportional, and the partial pressure of difference of gas between two sides, it's nothing but the partial pressure of the membrane. So till now we have studied about physiology, the how gases diffuse in a respiratory membrane. Now let us see what happens in pathology. So in pathology you can see in respiratory diseases mainly the membrane will get thickened. Especially in fibrosis or edema, you can see the membrane gets thickened. So if the membrane is thickened, it is hard for the oxygen to come from the alveolar side to the capillary side, and the surface area decreases. So surface area decrease mainly in emphysema, in acute smokers, and also in strenuous exercise. So whenever a person is in very high exercise, then their surface area may also decrease. So these are all the pathology. When they are decreased, you can understand now the diffusion is very hard, and the diffusion coefficient depends mainly on solubility. Yeah, again we are repeating it many times, divided by under root of molecular weight. So this diffusion coefficient is carbon dioxide diffuse 20 times rapid than the oxygen. Remember this, carbon dioxide have more diffusion rate when compared with oxygen, and oxygen diffuse twice as nitrous oxide, means oxygen is prior than the nitrous oxide. Next, coming to the pressure difference. So pressure difference is nothing but the partial pressure, it's the difference between partial pressure of alveolar minus partial pressure of capillary. So this is a pressure by which a molecule escape from the blood in opposite direction, that is about partial pressure of capillary. Partial pressure of alveoli is the pressure by which the gas molecule hit the alveoli. So, for example, if the partial pressure of alveoli is greater than the partial pressure of capillary, especially it is seen in oxygen. So that is the reason why as alveolar oxygen is very high, the diffusion tends to move the oxygen from the alveoli to the capillary. Whereas if the partial pressure of capillary is very high when compared with partial pressure of alveoli, especially in the case of carbon dioxide, you can see carbon dioxide is very much high in the blood when compared with our capillary, sorry, compared with our alveoli. So here the reverse takes place. That is, the carbon dioxide tends to move from the blood to the alveoli. Now let us see the respiratory membrane diffusion capacity. It is nothing but the volume of gas that diffuses by the membrane each minute for the partial pressure difference of 1 millimeter. So already we discussed this in our glossary terms. So diffusion capacity for oxygen, let us see. In rest normally it is 21 milliliter per minute, whereas mean oxygen pressure in quiet breathing in respiratory membrane is 11 millimeters. So you can measure the values. In quiet breathing it is 11, whereas in rest it is 21. So if we multiply both, we get 230 milliliters, which is nothing but the oxygen which is diffused by the respiratory membrane per 1 minute. That is at the rate at which the resting person uses. So the resting person uses like about 230 milliliters of oxygen just per minute. That too, this 21 milliliters in rest, and in quiet breathing he uses 11 millimeters. So if we multiply both, we get 230. That is a person in rest who is using for 1 minute 230 milliliter of oxygen. So in exercise, actually, the blood flow increases, especially to the pulmonary blood flow increases. So even alveolar ventilation should increase, to match the ventilation perfusion ratio. It should be absolutely equal to 1 or like near to 0.8. So this there is also increase in diffusion of oxygen. That is like about 65 milliliter per minute. So you can compare before in rest the diffusion of oxygen is only 21, but at exercise you can see it's like 65. It has increased very much because to compensate this ventilation perfusion ratio. Next, coming to the diffusion capacity for carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide also diffuse rapidly, like average pCO2 in blood is different from pCO2 in so it's in capillary. So average difference is less than 1 millimeter of mercury. So the diffusion coefficient of carbon dioxide is 20 times that of oxygen. Means you can understand, we are saying diffusion coefficient is very high for carbon dioxide. Means more carbon dioxide clears out from our pulmonary artery, which is carrying the deoxygenated blood into the alveoli. So because of this, we expire more amount of carbon dioxide when compared with oxygen. Because oxygen, it's going only like somewhat, its diffusion is low. So only some oxygen, we already discussed, like 21 milliliter per minute is entering per minute into our capillary. So in rest, the carbon dioxide is like 400 to 450 milliliter per minute, whereas in exercise it's like 1200 to 1300. So if you do more exercise, we can